After the welcome, I will hand over to Jeff Blacker. Jeff is the lead trainer for this training. He will give you an overview of the structure of this online training and the learning objectives for this 4-week course. And also my colleague Rochelle is on the call, who I think some of you might have been in touch with prior to the training, and she will then take you through Connect A2ii, the learning platform, so you're all prepared to start working on the training modules after the session today. And we will close by giving you an overview of the to-dos for this first week of modules and before the live sessions start next Wednesday. And we will also stay online a bit longer today in case you need assistance with the e-learning platform with Connect A2ii if that is needed. So I'm sure some of you are familiar with the Access to Insurance initiative, but in terms of a quick background, the A2ii is a unique global partnership. It was founded in 2009, and it's unique in the sense that it's a partnership between the development world. Our core funding is being provided by the German and the Dutch governments, and the global standard-setting body for the insurance sector, the International Association of Insurance Supervisors, the IAIS. So the Access to Insurance initiative is the implementation partner of the IAS on capacity building with the objective to improve access to insurance. And as such, we work on a broad range of activities to support insurance supervisors from mainly emerging and developing economies. And besides training, our activities also include knowledge generation on key inclusive insurance topics. We organize peer exchange between supervisors, dialogue events, and also develop innovative tools and approaches to support insurance supervisors. And I'd encourage you to take a look at our website if you want to see upcoming events or also access tools from the A2ii, like the Inclusive Insurance Regulation World Map or our new Key Performance Indicator Lexicon. Coming to this training, this was developed under a partnership between the A2ii, the IAIS, the International Association of Insurance Supervisors, and the International Actuarial Association. And that partnership was signed back in 2017. Originally, the training was developed as a 1-week in-person training, and as such was rolled out 3 times in 2019 in 3 different regions in Sub-Saharan Africa and the Caribbean and also in Asia. So this is now the first time that we are conducting the training as a fully virtual event and with the help of our new e-learning platform, Connect A2ii. And we are very excited to kick this off today. So welcome again to all of you from both the A2ii and also the IAS side. And I would like to hand over now to Fred Rowley from the IAA to also welcome you from their side.
Thank you. Thank you, Janina. As Janina said, I'm Fred Rowley. I'm a former president of the International Actuarial Association, which I'll call the IAA, and I'm here to welcome you on behalf of the IAA. Our volunteer experts are very pleased and proud to be working in partnership with A2ii to bring this training to you. The actuarial profession was founded over 250 years ago in order to help to manage the solvency of financial institutions in the United Kingdom. We've treasured that role ever since. We pride ourselves on acting always in the interests of the community at large. In 2004, the IAA Working Party made a major contribution to the development of insurance solvency standards by setting out a framework for insurer solvency measurement. So we pride ourselves on being known for our ability to manage risk in support of financial security of institutions and individuals as well. So all of our experts are looking forward to working with you. We want you to understand what we do, and we want to help you to succeed in what you do. So on their behalf, welcome, and on behalf of the IAA, welcome, and thanks again for your attention, and I'll hand back to Janina.
Thanks very much, Fred. So with that, I would like to hand over to Jeff to take us through the training overview and starting with the trainer team.
Hello, everyone. You're going to meet 11 trainers during the next 4 weeks. You see their faces here. I'm not going to go through their bios today, but you will get to read their bios during the training. At the start of every module, the first slide of every module has the bio of that trainer, and we also have a page of all the bios. You'll see where to access later today, where to get all the documents for this course online, and one of those is a bio page. So these trainers have a variety of experience. Some of them have worked for regulators, the IAIS, the private sector, and even the World Bank. So they have all worked either inside or alongside regulatory frameworks. They want you to ask questions. So if something isn't clear, please help them out by letting them know, and then they can dive deeper into those topics. Participants, we have, here we go. Sorry, there's a delay. We have 43 participants from 21 countries. The red dots roughly represent where you're located on the map, but some of the countries are close together, so some of you are sharing red dots. We aren't going to go through icebreakers today. Next week, when we meet again in another webinar, we will be asking you to work in small groups, split into small groups, and introduce yourselves. There's also a module this coming week. You will be asked to do an exercise where you go into a forum and introduce yourself there as well. The 11 trainers I mentioned are also spread around the globe. So I think between the participants and the trainers, we have a diverse group, and it should be a lot of fun. We're going to look now at a program overview, including how the online training will work, the course objectives, and then what we'll cover over the next 4 weeks. And we'll have a moment for you to ask questions before we move into the next part of the agenda, where Rochelle will show you how the website works that you'll be using for the training. So the first thing on the slide says the modules. These are self-paced. You work them at your own speed, but we would ask that you complete all of the modules for the week by Wednesday before we meet in the webinar. And then there's also a case study each of the 4 weeks. So 4 case studies, we'd like you to have those read before the Thursday meetings. The bottom part of your screen mentions the live virtual sessions or webinars. These take place on Wednesdays and Thursdays. We'll meet for 3 hours each day with an hour break in the middle. So we'll meet from 12 to 1:30, take an hour break, and then meet from 2:30 to 4 Central European Standard Time. Thursdays and Wednesdays are similar, but there's 2 differences on Thursdays. First, Thursdays is when we'll always do the case study breakout groups, where you'll work on exercises related to the case studies you've read in advance. And then the last thing on your screen you see on Thursdays, after we end at 4 o'clock, we have an optional networking virtual coffee break. So one downside of these virtual meetings is there's no snack breaks where you can all talk and meet each other. So we're trying to give you a platform where you can still have a chance to get to know each other informally. One more point here is that the modules and the live sessions are related. So we use the modules to present the topic, introduce it, and then we get into the webinars. We will be talking a lot about the same topics, but in greater detail and with more interactive exercises, and give you a chance to also ask questions on the same topics, but in much deeper detail than you would get in the modules when you get to the live sessions. If you were to add up the hours of the live sessions, there are 24 hours of training, and we estimate that the modules will take you about 8 hours, so on average about 2 hours a week to complete the modules. At the end of the training, you will receive a certificate after you've completed all of the activities. And I believe we are ready for the next slide, the course objectives. I'll do a little bit of reading here. I'm sorry. The primary objective of this training is to increase the actuarial capacity of insurance supervisory authorities to leverage actuarial skill sets. So skill sets, the last words here, we mean the improvement of the understanding and utilization of actuarial concepts amongst supervisors. So we are not attempting to train actuaries. That's not our goal. We are trying to improve supervision of insurance companies by supporting and enabling the move towards risk-based supervision. Let's look at what we're going to cover over the next 4 weeks. This slide is very high level, and then we'll go into each week in more detail on the 4 following slides. In week 1, we start off with the causes of insurer distress. This session sort of sets the tone for the rest of the 4 weeks. We look at what's caused insurers to have problems in the past, and then the rest of the training is looking at all of the tools we have to prevent those problems from being repeated. So also in week 1, we'll look at risk management, followed by actuarial reports and valuation in week 2, risk-based capital and reinsurance in week 3. In week 4, we'll look at key performance indicators and how they can be used in insurance supervision. Week 1 in more detail, we'll start off with the learning objectives, of sort of what we're saying right now, but in addition, we want to take this opportunity to find out what problems and issues you have at work, what obstacles you're facing, reasons for insurer distress, ICP 8. The ICPs are the insurance core principles established by the IAIS, I'm sorry. In this training, we'll look at 5 ICPs in addition to other topics. So this is the first one we'll come to. It talks about risk management and internal control. So in terms of internal control, we'll look at the 3 lines of defense that insurance companies have. The next ICP is number 16. We'll look at enterprise risk management for solvency purposes. So what sort of things should supervisors be looking at when they evaluate an insurer's ERM framework? We'll look at solvency management and the ORSA, or the own risk and solvency assessment. And then, as I mentioned, each week we will look at case studies. So the first case study will be on insurance failure. So I don't know if I've said this already, just to make it more clear. In each week, the module will have a case study module where you will read the case study. We will ask you to print the case study. And then on Thursdays, you will work in small groups on exercises related to the case study. Week 2, evaluation and actuarial reports. We'll look at ICP 14, the valuations for solvency purposes. So by valuation, we mean how the reserves and liabilities are calculated by the actuaries. And for solvency purposes, that just means that those reserves and liabilities have some conservatism in their methods and assumptions to help ensure the solvency of insurers and make sure they can pay their claims. Look at valuation key concepts and techniques. So what types of reserves do actuaries calculate and how do they calculate them? Reviewing an actuarial valuation report. So as a supervisor, what are some areas you should focus on when you read actuarial reports? We'll have the week 2 case study where we'll look at valuation reports for both general insurers and life insurers. And then we'll introduce an action plan, which is going to be repeated several times through this training. The action plans, we want you to be able to apply what you're learning in this training in your own work. Week 3, we will look at the ICP 17, capital adequacy. So that takes into account both what are the capital requirements and what are the insurer's capital resources. We want to look at the risk-based capital, what types of risks are taken into consideration in the RBC. If we're keeping count of the ICPs, I think I said there were 5. I think this is the 5th one, ICP 13, which deals with reinsurance and how reinsurance fits within an ERM framework. Our third case study is on capital calculations. And that takes us into the final week, week 4, regulatory frameworks and key performance indicators. Regulatory and supervisory frameworks and types and ranges of solvency regimes. So on the most simple type of capital requirement would be flat amounts for capital requirements, and then they build up to more complex capital requirements such as risk-based capital. Look at how to apply key performance indicators in the supervision of insurance. Our final case study will be in week 4, And then again, we'll look at the action plans, applying everything you've been looking at over the last 4 weeks, how to apply that in your own work. Let's pause for a moment. If you have any questions, be sure you unmute and let me know if there's questions so far, and then Rochelle will take over with how to use the website to access all of the training. Are there any questions? Not hearing any. Rochelle June works for the Access to Insurance Initiative. She helps a lot with the technical work of both of the modules and of the webinars. So whenever you see the word Secretariat on your screen, it's probably Rochelle. Thank you.
Rochelle, you're mute. Yeah. No.
Apologies for that. I think there's an issue with my headphones, so I just took them off. Welcome everyone to the training, and I'm happy to be supporting it and getting to know everyone. And now I think everyone has the Connect A2ii account, so hopefully you've already seen this home page, and I'll take you through the module navigation and show you how it works. Immediately after the onboarding, we will be enrolling everyone in the course, so no worries about that. So you haven't had access until now, but you will very soon. So this is what the home page looks like. You can have a quick overview of the trainings and your progress. You also have a quick link to forum topics, but you can explore the home page on your own. I will show you how to navigate to the training. Just click on catalog, and then you will have access to the actuarial training. You can click anywhere on the image or on the button to continue training. Once you open the training, you will see 3 tabs here, which are important. The training content, which is the list of all of the modules. Documents library, where you can download all of the important documents. We'll be uploading the weekly slides from the webinars. You can also download the action plan, template, case studies, and other exercises. Everything will be here in the documents library. All of the forum topics under this tab are also listed here. So this is a quick access to all the forum topics. But when there is a specific forum that you need to access, we will also link directly to that forum within the modules. So there are some parts of the modules where you're supposed to post any questions you have on the module, or any answers to specific exercises or your problem statements, and you can link to that directly from the modules as well, or get the shortcut here. And we do have an introductory forum, and it would be great if everyone can post a short introduction to themselves later in this forum. Now, to get to the modules, you can always click on this green arrow, continue training, or this button here to continue training to pick up where you left off. But to show you what the modules look like, I'm going to go directly to this one as a demonstration. So when you're in a module, you always have a list on the side of all of the modules, so you can go back and review modules from previous weeks if you want to. We do ask that you just complete the week that you're on, not to jump ahead, but they are available for previews. But we ask that you just complete the weekly modules on time by the Wednesday of every week. And the best view is the full screen view. The 2 arrows here at the bottom right will take you to the full screen view, and we recommend that for the best experience. On each module, we have provided an estimation of how long it will take you. This one is estimated to take about 15 minutes, so that can help you to plan your time. And when you start a video, you have various options. You can add closed captioning or subtitles by clicking on the CC. So it will provide you with automatic captions. You also have the option to change those captions into a different language if that's something that you're interested in by clicking on Settings, Subtitles/CC, Auto Translate, and you can choose a different language. But these are automated captions, so they may not be completely accurate, but they can be helpful. And you also have an option to change the speed of the videos under settings as well. And when the videos end, you will be shown a preview of other videos on our channel, but please just ignore that. Don't click further in the video, but use these arrows at the bottom to navigate through the slides. So your controls for the slides are the full screen button to enter or exit full screen, and these buttons to navigate through the slides. Now in the modules, we have integrated some activities such as true, false, multiple choice questions or polls. When you see a question like this, just answer, make sure to click check so that it checks your answer and saves your answer. You sometimes have an option to retry and try again. Just make sure that you click the check button to save your answer. As well, we do have some forum, as I said before, forum links in the modules. So for example, each module has a slide where you can access the forum link and post any questions related to this module, which the trainer can later address in the webinar. When you click on the forum link, it will open a new window or a new tab. So you can go directly to the forum. You can close it again and be back in the same module and go back to the full screen. As well, we have included an evaluation at the end of each module, so we'd like your feedback on the relevancy and the quality of the module. Again, just click on check to save your answers. And then at the end, you will need to save your progress in the module. So don't leave the page, but just exit the full screen and click on next to save your progress. So that's important. When you want to come back and pick up where you left off, you do need to save the module's progress by clicking on next at the end of the module. And you don't need to get 100% on the module and its questions, but we will look at that you've completed the module, that you've spent an appropriate amount of time on it. So if you, if there's anyone who is worried about that, about the score that appears here, don't worry so much, but you just have to complete the module, and when we see that you've spent an appropriate amount of time on it, like the 15 minutes, we take that all into consideration. You can also check your progress by viewing your user profile and see where you are at in the training, how long you've spent on it, which modules you've completed. You can also see under this achievements button something similar to see how far you are in the training. And so that's the overview of the modules. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and we're also available at any time through email, through connect@a2ii.org. And please don't forget to introduce yourself in the introductory forum. So thank you, and if there are any questions, well, we could take them now or also at the end of the session is an option.
Thanks very much, Rochelle. And thanks, Jeff, for the training overview. So I'll give you a few seconds while I upload the presentation again as well to think about any questions. You're also welcome to post them in the chat, or if you face any issues unmuting yourselves, just raise your hands or let us know, and we'll we'll try and solve that. I'll pause for a second to get the slides back.
Rochelle, one item while we're paused would be to mention how to know which modules are for which week, the way that they're numbered. So if you don't want people to work ahead, are you still able to share your screen and show how they're numbered?
Yes, sure. So the modules.
Sorry, I've just put up the presentation back.
Okay. Well, I think we can just give an example. The modules for week 1 start with the number 1, so 1.1 to 1.8. The modules for week 2 start with 2, and so on for week 3 and 4.
I think, yeah, that's a good point, Jeff. And I think we can also take this up in the agenda item now, or it will be more obvious there. So we want to summarize in this at this point again your to-dos for the following week. So the modules that you're asked to complete before the live session start next Wednesday. And this is what Jeff just mentioned. So this is the view of Connect that you could just see on Rochelle's screen, and the list of modules that are there, and the ones that start with the 1.1 to 1.8 are the ones for week 1. You will have in that week 2 short introductions to help you get familiar with Connect A2ii and also the training itself, basically going through the training objectives again. That is followed by an introduction to the action planning that Jeff was also mentioning when going through the training overview. And this actually includes a task for you to complete this week, and I'm going to say a few more words about this in a moment. Modules 1.4 to 1.7 are the ones about insurer distress and risk management, the ones to prepare basically for the live webinars next week. And then finally, 1.8 is the case study that you are asked to read and also prepare for the respective session on Thursday next week. Now, just to give you a bit of a background on the problem statements and the action plans and this associated task you are asked to complete until next week. As Jeff mentioned before, during the training, we will work with you on so-called action planning. And that's an exercise to help you put the learnings from the training into practice. And the starting point of this exercise is to identify an issue or a key challenge in your working context that you would like to be able to better address after this training. So this is also called the problem statement. And based on this problem statement, you will define in the next step an objective to address the causes of this problem identified. And then in a third step, plan clear steps to achieve the objective. So develop an action plan that will help you overcome the initial challenge that you identified. As we said, this action planning will come up in several sessions throughout the next weeks, but in preparation for the live session next week, your task in the module 1.3 that I showed on the previous slide will be to start thinking about the problem statement. It will actually take you to a forum, as you've just seen with Rochelle. And you are asked to think about 3 challenges that you would like to be able to better address after this training, and note down your answers in the forum. The action planning, I know that I've went through this rather quickly, but the action planning is also explained again in the module. There are also a few examples for key challenges included in the module, but if anything is unclear, please just don't hesitate to reach out or to get in touch with us when you are on this task.